the orbital movement of the sun and the moon, and it is you who created the night and the day, and the sun and the moon, all heavenly bodies in an falak orbit, are yasbahoon, swimming. Qur'an 21:33. It is not allowable, i.e., possible, for the sun to reach the moon, nor does the night overtake the day, but each, in an falak orbit, is yasbahoon, swimming. Qur'an 36-40. The Arabic words used in these verses are falak and yasbahoon, which can be translated as sphere or orbit and swimming. This concept of the movement of the sun and the moon and the other planets is in perfect harmony with recent discovery. It is inconceivable that an Arab living centuries ago in the most primitive part of the world could have rightly used such a specific term to describe the movements of planets without divine guidance. It should be noted that the discovery of the orbital movement of all celestial bodies was due to the invention of telescopes. The spherical shape of the earth, and it is you who created the night and the day, and the sun and the moon, all heavenly bodies in an falak orbit, are yasbahoon, swimming. Qur'an 21:33. It is not allowable, i.e., possible, for the sun to reach the moon, nor does the night overtake the day, but each, in an falak orbit, is yasbahoon, swimming. Qur'an 36-40. The Arabic words used in these verses are falak and yasbahoon, which can be translated as sphere or orbit and swimming. This concept of the movement of the sun and the moon and the other planets is in perfect harmony with recent discovery. It is inconceivable that an Arab living centuries ago in the most primitive part of the world could have rightly used such a specific term to describe the movements of planets without divine guidance. It should be noted that the discovery of the orbital movement of all celestial bodies was due to the invention of telescopes. The spherical shape of the earth, he wraps the night over the day and wraps the day over the night. Qur'an 39-5. The Arabic word for wrap is yugawir. The word is used to depict the act of wrapping a turban around someone's head. This word was also used in the sense of overlapping of the night and day and vice versa. The reason for the days turning into night and the nights turning into day is due to the spheroid form of the earth. God also says, and after that he spread the earth. Qur'an 79-30. The Arabic word dahw means to spread or spread out, giving something a round shape, i.e. like that of the ostrich's egg. Many ancient cultures, including the Greek, Indian and Chinese, held a belief that the earth is flat. The Europeans did not alter their view until the Middle Ages. The lowest point on earth in the early 7th century, the two most powerful empires at the time were the Roman, Eastern, Byzantine, and Persian empires. In the years 613–614 CE, the two empires went to war, with the Byzantines suffering a severe defeat at the hands of the Persians. Damascus and Jerusalem both fell to the Persian Empire. In the following verses from the Qur'an, God states that although the Byzantines had been defeated, 9 years would not pass, except that they will gain victory. The Byzantines have been defeated in Adna, nearest, lowest land, but they, after their defeat, will be victorious within a few years. Bid'ah. Sinin 3 to 9 years. Qur'an 30-2-4. Indeed, after around 7 years following the revelation of these verses, against all the odds, the Byzantine Empire defeated the Persians, and the lost territories were returned to them. In the verse, God describes the geographical location as Adna al-Ard. The word Adna can be translated as the nearest or the lowest land. Classic Islamic scholars opted to interpret the word to concord to the first meaning of nearest. However, recent geological studies have shown that the lowest point on Earth, dry land, is indeed the region where the main battles took place, around the Dead Sea. It is now established that there is no land point on Earth with a lower altitude than the shoreline of the Dead Sea, which is approximately 418 meters below sea level. Is it a mere coincidence that region described by God as Adna al-Ard, is actually the lowest point on earth. The Qur'an on Mountains, the book entitled Earth, is a basic reference textbook in many universities around the world. One of its two authors is Professor Emeritus Frank Press. He was the science advisor to former U.S. President Jimmy Carter, and for 12 years was the president of the National Academy of Sciences, Washington, D.C. His book says that mountains have underlying roots. These roots are deeply embedded in the ground, thus mountains have a shape like a peg. This is how the Quran has described mountains. God has said in the Quran, "Have we not made the earth a resting place, and the mountains as stakes, pegs?" Quran 78-6-7. Modern earth sciences have proven that mountains have deep roots under the surface of the ground, see figure 6, and that these roots can reach several times their elevations above the surface of the ground. So the most suitable word to describe mountains on the basis of this information is the word peg, since most of a properly set peg is hidden under the surface of the ground. The history of science tells us that the theory of mountains having deep roots was introduced only in the latter half of the 19th century. 7 Mountains also play an important role in stabilizing the crust of the earth. They hinder the shaking of the earth. God has said in the Quran, "And he has cast into the earth firmly set mountains, lest it shift with you, and made rivers and roads, that you may be guided." Quran 16:15. Likewise, the modern theory of plate tectonics holds that mountains work as stabilizers for the earth. This knowledge about the role of mountains as stabilizers for the earth has just begun to be understood in the framework of plate tectonics since the late 1960s. Could anyone during the time of the Prophet Muhammad have known of the true shape of mountains? Could anyone imagine that the solid mass of mountain which he sees before him actually extends deep into the earth and has a root, as scientists assert? A large number of books of geology, when discussing mountains, only describe that part which is above the surface of the earth. This is because these books were not written by specialists in geology. However, modern geology has confirmed the truth of the Quranic verses.